To go fuel yourself. The keyword here coming up, and then the one at 5:30 will be your last two chances to win today. And then Guardians pregame, 6:30 something. It's number 2 of 2 today against the White Sox doubleheader. Guardians took the first one 4-0. Was that the final or 4-1?
4-1.
White Sox did get 1 run, so 4-1 the final. But White Sox are down 2 games so far. So I'll be there tonight. I will be screaming. You know how I do at these games, Bill.
Ah!
That's exactly
like
how
that?
I do at
Oh,
these
I'm
games,
glad.
yes.
I'm glad we're not going on the same night.
And then Bill's going tomorrow night, where he will be equally as enthused.
Yeah!
Yeah, hi, Guardians.
Go mustard!
Go mustard.
Go mustard! I'm more invested in the mustard drought right now.
Well, listen, I think that the whole thing is
Staged.
rigged.
No.
I think that it's fixed. But I'll still root for the underdog every single time. And tonight, unfortunately, that includes the Chicago White Sox.
Okay, Mary, I got a couple of suggestions for you for horror movies. One, if you have Shudder, you should get it for sure. Watch the 2020 movie Host. That's a Zoom horror movie. Don't be fooled by that. They actually do some really great special effects using Zoom. And it's under an hour, so you're less likely to fall asleep during it. And second of all, Ouija, Origin of Evil. It's a prequel to the movie Ouija, but Ouija sucked. This one is way better, and you don't have to watch both movies.
I don't like Ouija boards, but that's probably why I should watch it, because I believe in it.
Because then we can scare you with the Ouija board more.
I haven't seen Host, but there is kind of a good movie along those lines called Unfriended. Have you seen Unfriended? It's kids that are all like, it's an online kind of movie, you know? The premise is that there's somebody killing these kids one by one.
Oh, I have heard of that.
It looks dopey, but it's better than it should be. On the suspense side, by the way, another movie that I think is really underrated is called Oculus. It's about 10 years old now. Remember that with Karen Gillan, where she and her brother, they have the mirror?
I didn't see that.
Oh, it's good, man. You should watch Oculus.
I think Karen Gillan, though. So.
Yeah, they did a sequel to that, too. But the first one's really good. Huh?
The sequel is Rockulus?
Rockulus is the sequel, that's right. No, Ouija 2 made me think of Oculus, because I'm pretty sure they did a sequel.
What's the It Follows? That's a creepy one.
It Follows. It's a
That's like supernatural.
It's a demonic STD.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, you bang and then it follows you around.
You have to have
you.
sex with someone to pass it to them.
It's like Final Destination, but for your vagina.
Yes, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, if your vagina is someone's final destination, which is redundant, but still.
Which, if you're in a committed relationship, it should be.
Right?
At least for the time being. A lot of hay being made, by the way. You know, in some places around this country.
We're running out.
We are low on hay.
Who says we don't?
Bale season.
Who says we don't make anything anymore in this country? We make a lot of hay. In Las Vegas, specifically over Sandra Douglas Morgan. She is a Las Vegas attorney, but she is also the new team president for the Las Vegas Raiders. She's the first black woman to serve as an NFL team's president. I think these teams are getting smart, where they go, hey, we've got a lot of professional athletes that do a lot of things that we might end up in court for. Let's just make the president a lawyer. And being a black woman probably doesn't hurt. So they figured, oh, she checks a lot of boxes. She used to be the chairwoman of the Nevada Gaming Control Board. So her bona fides there in the state are pretty good, I guess. But this is a smart move on their part. Because as far as optics go, it's a good look. And as far as having an attorney at the top of your organization, she doesn't have to know how any of this crap works.
Yeah, that's not.
You
her
hire
responsibility.
other people to do what you need done, but you're going to need, the sands are shifting with professional sports. Who's the president of the Browns right now? Who's at the very top of the Browns?
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden? I think they said Joel Biden.
No. Sashi. No.
Sashi Brown?
No, not Sashi. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a while ago. What's his name? Andrew Barry. I believe.
Okay.
I don't know if he might be the GM.
President of the Browns
He's the
is
general manager.
J.W. Johnston.
Okay, I didn't know
Johnson? Andrew Barry's the GM.
He's the GM, yeah.
Yeah. J.W. Johnson, part owner. Well, I don't know if he's a lawyer, but boy, it would certainly help to have some counsel in-house, I guess. Bill Burr had a new hour drop on Netflix today. Bill Burr live,
that's right, yeah.
live at Red Rocks, one of Mary's favorite comedians.
I do like him.
He does a rant on the WNBA. You know, I used to work for the Chicago Sky, and he kind of, it's early in the special when he kind of goes into, it's not our fault, meaning guys, it's not our fault that female athletes aren't put on a pedestal. It's your fault as women for not supporting those sports. It's got nothing to do with us.
Okay. Why are you looking at me?
Because you're the only woman in the room.
Dude, nobody in the WNBA got COVID. Nobody. They have been playing in front of 300 to 400 people a night for a quarter of a century. Not to mention, it's a male-subsidized league. We gave you a f***ing league. None of you showed up. That place should be packed with feminists. Women failed the WNBA. Ladies, name your top 5 all-time WNBA players of all time. Come on. That's it. Name 5 WNBA teams. Name the WNBA team in your f***ing city. You can't do it.
Listen, the WNBA, I will tell you as a former employee, those games are packed out. Didn't they used to have a Cleveland where the Rockers a WNBA team?
Yeah, I don't think they were packed out, though.
I was going to say, in Cleveland, it might be a bit more of a wall to get over. But the Chicago Sky, now they paper those games heavily too, right? I think they send a bus to every local high school to get the kids coming out. It's lesbians and high school girls who show up, at least 10 plus years ago when I was working for them. But you had your Sylvia Fowles, and you had your Candace Parker, and you had your Cheryl Swoops. Cheryl Swoops. Liz Cambage. Hotcha.
And Brittany Griner?
Yep.
She's out there.
Oh,
in
Brittany
Russia
Griner. Courtney Vandersloot.
Lisa Loeb.
Dewana
Lisa
Boner.
Leslie. Lisa Loeb. You say I was fine when you want to.
Yeah, Brittany Griner ended up pleading guilty just to try to get the swap, right?
Yeah.
Because she was like, if I say I didn't do this, it's going to go to trial. I'm going to be in a Russian gulag for the next 15 years. There is a girl who plays for the Connecticut Sun whose name is Dewana Bonner. But if you were to pronounce her last name a different way, which a lot of people do, she played college ball at Auburn University. War Eagle. It's my dad's alma mater. Dewana Boner would be...
Drag name.
Yeah, possibly. But, Christy Tolliver, she was a rookie when I was with the Chicago Sky. And now she's gone on to fame and fortune. Well, she's gone on to fame with a whole bunch of other teams. These girls were right out of college when I was working for the WNBA. Now they're pushing 40. But they are making more money than they used to make, boy. I don't know that they're still subsidized by the NBA, though. Alan, I can't believe you haven't recommended Rawhead Rex. Well, when my Fangoria subscription was in good standing in 1986 and 87 and 88, and Rawhead Rex was on the cover, sure. But that's not really Mary's Speed, a mythological creature in the Scottish moors running around chewing people's faces off with full-on 80s horror special effects.
No, thank you.
Practical effects.
Brian would probably like that.
He would love it.
Yeah.
He's probably seen it.
Yeah.
It's a little obscure. Has he watched The Reanimator?
I don't know. Like
Why don't you ask him these things?
He watches... When would that come up in conversation? Hey, have you seen this movie I've never heard of that I'm going to just pull out of my butt?
Well, then it comes up in conversation now.
Okay.
Ask him when you guys are having sex next.
Have you seen The Reanimator?
when he pulls out of your butt.
No.
You see what he's doing here?
I see what he's doing.
What is he
He's a
talking
mess.
about?
There's a fluff gas ball.
Oh, he's a
She
hot...
said the same thing.
What?
She talked about pulling stuff out of her butt.
She didn't refer to him as stuff.
No,
And I assume that she
We don't
meant...
know that.
he didn't do that. Gross.
How's it going back there?
Ew.
Oh, come on. We're all grown-ups.
I do a bit with Jeremiah on Kiss where I give him a phrase to say and he's got to work it into his show. And today it was panty pudding. And I thought he did a good job of working it in.
Oh my goodness.
He's working these things on over at Kiss?
Yeah.
Hey, it's a new one. Olivia Rodrigo. A little bit of panty pudding in her.
Nah, he was able to...
Panty pudding.
Panty pudding.
All right.
Because the first
So
time I
gross.
did it, I said possum tail. And he got possum tail on. And that one was
Oh, you really ratcheted it up right away.
Yeah, and
then.
I was like, okay,
immediately.
let's take this to another level. And he worked it in a good way where he just goes, I got to make a stop at Target after the show today. I got a big old list here. I got to get some blah, 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 panty, pudding, and just like put it into his grocery list. But it was a pretty clever way of doing it. He passed the test.
All right. Now, is this a quid pro quo? Is he imploring you to work little phrases
See, it's got to be
into this show?
We haven't been doing that because I can just say panty pudding.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not the
it's
same.
not the same,
They're not
yeah.
in between songs.
Right.
He's not playing Shawn Mendes and then.
Oh, poor little Shawn Mendes.
Now, I wish he had gone there and been like, oh, Shawn Mendes here. This will get you fill those panties with pudding.
Yeah!
If it's tapioca ladies, time to go to the clinic.
Oh. Large curd or small
Yeah,
curd?
here's a little panty pudding for you. Shawn Mendes.
Hey, Mary. Don't listen to the recommendation of It Follows. That movie is god-awful. Midway through that movie of watching it with my girlfriend, I have figured out a plan to beat that STD demon, and it is not an enjoyable movie.
I think you could, ST Demon would suffice.
Yeah.
I liked It Follows. I thought
I thought
it was
fine. I thought
yeah,
it was good.
It was good.
It's interesting.
Oh, it's fine.
It does take a...
I also think it's so
it has
weird
kind
when
of a
people
goofy
go,
end, but...
I know you won't like it because I didn't like it.
Yeah, duh.
It's weird.
Well, but we're giving her recommendations.
Right.
He's giving her an anti-rec. He's trying to rescind a recommendation.
But he didn't
It's okay.
replace it.
Well, yeah. Let me give you some money. It's $1,000. A chance for you to go fuel yourself with $1,000. Good luck.
The Buzzard wants you to go fuel yourself and score $1,000. Enter the nationwide keyword PAY at WMMS.com. That's PAY. Enter it now at WMMS.com. And good luck from Buzzard Radio.
Alan Cox Show After Hours line. Anytime you want to leave us a message, you can. It's 216-986-8903.
Hey, Alan. Hate the show. I wanted to share some good news with you guys. It looks like the Attorney General from Ohio, Dave Yost, came out and said that story about the 10-year-old girl getting raped and not being able to get abortion in Ohio was completely fake. There's no crime report or lab results. There's no report on the crime. The doctor refuses to answer any questions. And I remember last week, Mary getting super frustrated with Poundcake and him not getting all excited about this story. And she exclaimed, well, I'm seeing it everywhere on Instagram. How can you not believe this? Well, this is why you don't get your news from people's Instagram stories, especially stories that are sensationalized. But I thought you'd all want to hear the great news. Again, hate the show. Bye.
Again, I don't know that they're saying it's completely fake. There are a lot of red flags, by the way. All Dave Yost has said, by the way, Dave Yost has a hard on for making women second-class citizens, so I wouldn't exactly use him as your primary source. But I was reading that the doctor in Indianapolis who put that story out there is the single source for that story. If you're a reporter, you get multiple sources. You corroborate.
Right.
And if you have one source, just on its face, that's not a good sign for a story. All Dave Yost has said is that there's no claims of any kind of crime. which, again, in sexual assaults, that doesn't cross it out either. Because, first of all, if it's a fake story, it's a double-edged sword. It is fantastic if that's a fake story, if it didn't happen. But the other half of that is that fabricating these kinds of stories is just going to muddy the waters, because these kinds of things will happen. And if you're going to criminalize abortion under any single circumstance, then it's going to make all kinds of women who get assaulted terrified to file reports, like a lot of them are now.
Yeah.
Especially if you think you're under surveillance. So most states in general aren't exactly Johnny on the spot with, because Dave Yost is like, there's no rape kit, Now, he may be absolutely correct. It may be made up. But just about every state in the union has got backed up rape kits going back years that haven't been analyzed. So it would be fantastic if it was not a true story. But it's no like ha 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 kind of situation, because these things will happen.
It's just what frustrates me is that it's like basically that even if it isn't this one, which if this didn't happen, that's a win for everybody. Like, I don't like the fact that people are putting fake news out there, but if there isn't a 10-year-old that survived that kind of trauma, that's a good thing.
Right.
I would be happy if this was a fake news story.
Yeah, but Mary, you look stupid for getting news off of Instagram.
And I didn't get the news off of Instagram.
I know. They're idiots.
Whatever. What I was referring to with Cody when I said I've seen it all over people's Instagram was like nurses posting about how they couldn't help women who needed a procedure done because they were pregnant and they had to wait.
Like an Epcot.
An Epcot, yes. They had an Epcot pregnancy. So those were the things I was referring to on Instagram, that there are real life human beings who work in the medical field saying, hey, I'm already seeing repercussions from this.
And speaking of repercussions, what really sucks is that here in Ohio, you have all these people who are coming out of, their OBGYN residency, and they're like, I'm not going to practice in Ohio.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to lose doctors because they're like, I wanted to practice in my home state, but now I can't, or I won't. Because why would I put myself under that kind of unnecessary and capricious scrutiny? So they're going to go somewhere else.
I also like there was something floating around on Instagram yesterday or 2 days ago where they're like, this is what climate change is going to do to the United States. And then, like, if you slide over, it's the AP saying, no, this is somebody that took the Mediterranean Sea and put it over the United States to show the size of it. But
yeah, well, that kind of stuff is really hard to kind of fact check all the time, and But for any story that has a single source, that's no good at all. No. So, and something that's as inflammatory as that, to put it mildly, you're just going to muddy the waters. But those climate change activists, earlier in the week, they stood in front of that highway and the guy's screaming at him, he's got to get to work. And now a bunch of them blocked the road of the Tour de France or something. Did you see that?
No.
There's like a huge dust cloud, and these guys are on these bikes.
Knocking them over.
Yeah. On the one hand, people go, that's not the way to get people's attention, but I love it. I love all that stuff.
I feel bad for
I
the
like
athlete.
the chaos. I like the disorder. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, but imagine if you dedicated your whole life to performing and competing in the Tour de France, and this guy standing in your way. Oh, I'd be so mad.
Sacre bleu! Ma bicyclette! Ma jambe brassée! All right, let me break here. If you want to leave us any messages on the iHeartRadio app, it's easily done there with the talkback button. If you want to text for anything else, 35192, and we'll be back.